Hey, good afternoon. It's John again. I'm here to play some Immaculate Grid. Don't know if I'm going to go for the low rarity score or some other parameter. I don't have my box of Donruss 1990 baseball cards with me, so I'll probably skip that part today. But that's been kind of a dud anyway. Or maybe I should just divorce the two concepts. Just do open a pack of baseball cards and play Immaculate Grid and not worry about mixing the two. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's play some Immaculate Grid. I did have I got 9 out of 9, but I was surprised by some of the scores um yesterday. In fact, I had yeah, Steve Sachs was the highest score for New York and Los Angeles. Um I did not realize that was going to be so popular, but I was inspired by Homer at the Bat, where Steve Sachs, who had his best years in LA, he's pictured there with an LA uniform. He's in the Simpsons episode where Mr. Burns recruits a bunch of MLB All-Stars, and he's arrested for every unsolved murder in New York City because at the time he's playing for the Yankees. So it's a great episode, classic episode. I think it's literally showing on a loop in the Hall of Fame, or it was when I was there. So anyway, let's hit refresh here. And let's see what we can get. We have all teams. So we had no teams a couple days ago, and now we've got all teams. Angels, Rays, Pirates across the top. Tigers, Diamondbacks, Dodgers across the side. Jose Guillen works in a bunch of places. I'll say that right off the bat. Um, and yeah, I guess let's start playing. What this? Angels and Dodgers. I know Mr. Terry. Doesn't he work for? No, I'm gonna go with this guy over here, Terry Forster. I use him because he's got the 390 career batting average, so I'll use him sometimes if it's these teams are involved. He goes 0.05%. He also played with the Angels. Let's see, Angels and Dodgers. You got Ricky Henderson. You've got Cecil Fielder. Cecil, or excuse me, not Cecil Fielder, Eddie Murray. I thought Cecil Fielder because up here he'll also work. I think Gary Pettis works up here. Frank Tanana will work. Let's go Gary Pettis. Oh, 2%. Okay. A little bit higher. A little bit higher than I was expecting, but nothing bad. Um, Hank Greenberg works over here for Pirates and Tigers. Let's see. I guess I'll go Quentin McCracken over here. Make me write it all the way out. There we go. Quentin McCracken for Diamondbacks and Rays. Evan Longoria is sure to be the highest person here because he's currently being featured in the World Series playing for the Diamondbacks 15 years after appearing in the World Series with the Rays. He gets 1%. I think I will go Jose Guillen over here. Tony Womack, I think, will be a popular one for Pirates and Diamondbacks. He would also work here, though. I could go Reggie Sanders. Maybe I go that path. Yeah, let's go Reggie Sanders for Rays and Pirates. Or excuse me, Diamondbacks and Pirates. Diamondbacks and Pirates. Going Reggie Sanders. He gets 1%. And I'm going to go Jose Guillen over here. Gets 0.3. You know who will work here then, because I didn't use him here, is Steve Finley. Steve Finley played for the Angels, Astros, Orioles, and the whole West. So sometimes I don't think it's smart to use Finley with either the Padres or the Diamondbacks if they're either of the teams because he played several years with both of them. But if you remember, he plays for the whole NL West, so he hits the other three teams as well as those teams I mentioned earlier. He's useful there. Sub one. Okay. Let's see. And we got Let's see, Rays and Tigers. Aubrey Huff will work. David Price will work. David Price will be a very popular pick, I think. Um, can't remember on those early. And Pirates, Tigers. How do we feel about Randall Simon? 2%, really. He when he was playing with the Pirates, he smacked, I think it was the Italian sausage with his bat um, during the Clement, what was at the time the Clement sausage race at Miller Park, what used to be Miller Park. All these things have changed names, but um, he whacked it and became public enemy number one. That was in 2003. It even followed him when he played with the Cubs. Like we were still booing him over that. Um, anyway, well, one person that'll work down here for Rays and Dodgers. So Crawford and Price are two names that I think will do pretty well. That the highest percentage will probably go to one of those two players. Um, but Fred McGriff will work. I'm not sure how. I mean, he briefly played for the Dodgers. Let's try it out. 5%. Okay. He was just inducted in the Hall of Fame. I should have seen that coming. And then, so I haven't been. I guess Terry Forster was the one pull that I really had. Yeah, I guess I do have a couple expansion teams, so maybe that's an excuse. But still, I was I think I could have done a lot better. I know some people in the comments are going to do a whole lot better. Let's see. So I mentioned David Price. I mentioned Aubrey Huff. I'm not going to belabor this too much. Carlos Pena works as well. Carlos Pena was traded from Oakland to Detroit. That was famously in Moneyball, and then achieved success with Tampa Bay. In fact, in Moneyball, like Jonah Hill playing not Paul DePodesta, he's advising Bean. He's just like Pena is an all-star, like is going to happen, and he was right. It just took a few years. So, I think Bean was probably right to. Um, I forget what Bean got in exchange for Pena, but in the movie they just portray it as taking the decision out of Art Howe's hands by just getting him off the roster. Um, anyway, other Tampa Bay Rays who ended up, or Detroit Tigers who ended up in Tampa Bay, or vice versa. Either way works. Um, I'll think on it for a second here, but I'm fairly happy with going Aubrey Huff. I think that'll be a decent pick. The wrong Upton. I almost said Upton, but wrong Upton. Yeah. All right, let's just go Huff. All right, so we get score 14. Huff is sub one. Okay. Um, yeah, probably could have maybe Cecil Fielder would have been better here because he only briefly plays for the Angels. Guillen would have worked on any of these middle ones. Um, as well as well, no, I guess that's it. Any of these middle ones here. Sanders at 2% means that he's starting to creep up, but I think Womack would have been higher. Let's see who the most popular ones were here. Yeah, Starling Marte, I guess that makes sense. Longoria, I was right about him. I was right about Price here, which I guess Price being here means that he wasn't going to be here as much. So Crawford is probably number one with Price number two for Tampa Bay and Los Angeles. Torrey Hunter up at 20%. I'd forgotten he played those couple of years with Detroit. So Austin Meadows leading the way at 13% for Pittsburgh, Detroit. Only 48% of people getting that one. People struggling with Pittsburgh. I wonder how Hank Greenberg does with Pittsburgh and Detroit because he played like one season with Pittsburgh. All right. Well, decent score. I'll take 14. I'm sure there were better ones, and I'm sure I could have I could have maybe done a lineup or something like that. I wasn't even thinking of doing that, but I've got to trained myself to think, hey, either do a lineup or maybe I'll go for all Brewers one of these days. Let's see, we could have had Matt Stairs there. We could have had I'm sure there were options. But anyway, enjoy, and we'll be back at tomorrow. I might make a bonus game. We'll see if the little one decides to cooperate. Peace.